what was his name?
Whose name?
I forgot the name of my best friend.
Did you ever have a best friend?
The boy who put the gloves on the chickens.
Henry?
I keep thinking his name was David.
David, Henry, what have you gone and done?
I've not gone and done anything, Mother. I've gone and not done something, which very much needed the not doing.
Oh, good heavens. Louisa, David Henry's gone and not done something again.
Henry David.
David Henry, you're being strange again.
He was strange. I almost understood him.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I don't even know who you are.
I am myself, Mother. If I wasn't, who would be?
When you're baptized, they tell you who you are.
Do you think I wasn't listening?
At your christening, you didn't cry once. Not once. Reverend Ripley said how remarkable it was for a baby not to cry at a christening.
Do you think I knew what they were doing to me?
I suppose not.
That's why I didn't cry.
He was the saddest, happy man I ever knew.
The happiest sad man, I think.
He worked on Sundays and took the rest of the week off. Who's this?
It's your umbrella.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I wouldn't mind your being peculiar, but do you have to work at it so hard, David Henry?
Henry David.
Getting everything backward. How do you learn your letters?
Must the alphabet begin with A? Why not with Z? Z is a very sociable letter, a path of a man wandering through the woods. A is braced and solid. A is a house. I prefer Z. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S.
Oh dear.
Mix them up a little. Start with H or start with Q.
Cast conformity behind you.
Cast conformity behind you.
Do you know what David Henry's trouble is, John?
What?
He's always casting conformity behind him.
What the hell? He's been to Harvard.
Never say.
Harvard? I'm sorry, Mother. I'll never say it again. Now here's a rare specimen.
There is an infinitude in the private man. If a single man plants himself indomitably on his instincts, and thereby the huge world will come round to him.
And there abide. Is this one wild or tame?
Wild, I think. Known to haunt the woods and ponds. Dull plumage, but a wise bird. Americanus something or other. I have it. It is the species brother.
John!
Welcome home. How's your overstuffed brain?
Oh, I've forgotten everything already.
At least you have a diploma.
No, I don't.
Why not?
They charge you $1 and I wouldn't pay it.
But think how Mama would love it. Your diploma from Harvard framed on the wall.
Let every sheep keep his own skin. John, I learned more from one man, not even a professor, than I learned at 4 years of droning and snorting at Cambridge. The strangest thing was, he wasn't a stranger. I knew him. I'd seen him. You know him too. You walk by him on the street and you say hello. He's just a man, just a neighbor. But when he speaks, a hush falls over all of Concord. There's this light about him. It comes out of his face. It's not just the light of any man. I swear to you, John, it's the light of all mankind. Idolator. Is this Earth?
I hope so.
No. It's you. It's I. It's God. It's Dr. Emerson. And it's the universal mind.
And Aunt Louisa?
Oh, yes, Aunt Louisa too. False teeth and all. Oh, it's not easy to think about Aunt Louisa swimming through the Milky Way. But that's the way things are, I'm sure of it.
And if she can't keep afloat, you can dive in and save her. So, now that you've turned your back on Harvard, what do you plan to do?
I think I'll think for a while. That will certainly be a change from college.
But what do you want to be, Henry? Do you have any idea?
Yes, I know exactly what I want to be. I want to be as much as possible like Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Your lecture was splendid, dear.
I think I read one paragraph twice. I lost my place.
Nobody noticed, dear.
If nobody noticed, then nobody was listening.
He thought you did it for emphasis.
Just then, I started listening to myself. I thought I sounded pompous. Dear God, and dear Lydia, don't ever let me get pompous.
Oh, Dr. Emerson, what a beautiful, beautiful lecture.
Thank you. Was it all perfectly clear?
Oh, no. But it was so lovely to see you standing up there, talking to all of us, as if you thought we were all as smart as you are.
You see, I'm not getting to them at all.
Of course you are.
Did you see that one fellow in the third row with his eyes closed? You don't think he was sleeping, do you?
Concentrating, dear.
My friend,
What? Why?
every human being has an inalienable right to snore, provided it does not interfere with anyone else's inalienability to snore. I couldn't hear what's going on.
Nothing goes on in here. Night half the time, then day, then night again. Don't make much difference.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear nothing. Just a bird.
Just a bird. Can you make a sound like that? Can you feed on flowers or carry the sky on your wings? My friend, you and I can't even fly.
I missed part of that. Guess I'm not full awake.
Nobody ever is. If I ever met a man who was fully awake, how could I look him in the face?
What did you do to get yourself locked up?
What do you think?
Well, a man who talks educated like yourself can't have done something small. I reckon murder. Or worse.
Well, that's what they say I've done. Out there in the dark, murder or worse. No, I refuse to commit murder. That's why I'm here.
Who they want you to kill?
Mexico.
Who's that?
That's where the war is.
What war?
My friend, this cell might be the only place in the United States that's at peace.
Who's fighting who?
I'm not fighting anybody.
Neither am I.
But we've got a president who boomed up a war all by himself, with no help from Congress and less help from me.
First I heard of it. Which side are you on? You against them?
Then
Or are you one of them?
I'm one of me.
That don't make no sense.
Did you hear that? He's an old friend of mine. A nighttime flyer. Perhaps he doesn't need to see where he's going, or perhaps he can see what we can't. Or hear. Did you ever make friends with a loon?
Not till tonight.
Whenever you hear a man called loony, just know it's a great respect to the man and a great disrespect to the loon. A loon doesn't wage war. His government is perfect, being non-existent. And he is the world's best fisherman, and he is completely in control of his senses. Thank you. What are you here for, friend?
I'm waiting trial.
What did you do?
Nothing.
What did they say you did?
Burned down a barn. But I didn't do it. All I did was snuck in to get some sleep, and, well, I guess the sparks from my pipe landed in the hay, and
Tell him that.
telling time as a child. That's what I've been waiting here for 3 months.
You've been stuck in this cell for 3 months just waiting for the chance to say you're innocent.
That's about it.
Well, that's outrageous! Sam Staples!
Don't cause no trouble. I'm not a troublemaker. I just want to earn my keep, make a little tobacco money, get along.
Get along. Those words turn my stomach. Mister, what's your name?
Bailey?
Well then, Mr. Bailey, listen. What do you hear?
Nothing. Except footsteps.
Footsteps of what?
Man, I guess.
Where's he going?
How would I know?
I know where he's going. He is going to a place where he's supposed to be, so he can get there at the time he's supposed to be there. Why? So he'll be liked. My God, a whole country of us who only want to be liked. What if God wanted to be liked instead of loved? What if he postponed every decision until he knew it would please the majority? Great Wales might have offended some legislator, which he knew would speak endlessly of the common good. Common good be damned! Give me something pleasantly uncommon!
Now, I have no idea what you were saying. It's a marvel to hear the way the words roll out.
I'll put it in plain Anglo-Saxon, Mr. Bailey. You're an uncommon man. You protested against the barn builder who locked you up in here with clapboard and daily working hours.
Don't say that to no judge. I burned down a barn. Throw me in jail.
My friend, where do you think you are? You might as well have done the deed that you didn't do.
Yeah, but I'm not a man who goes around burning things down.
Good for you. Fire that burns inside burns hotter than fire outside. A man's conviction is stronger than any fire or bullet or rock. Wonder if they'll keep me in here for 3 months awaiting trial. Who will weed my bean patch? I suppose I could get some brain work done.
You know, it feels good to talk to a smart fellow like you. I bet you can even write.
Sometimes.
I wish I was a writer. If I could write my name, I'd die happy.
You would do better than most writers. Bailey's not a hard name.
I know the start of it. It's the alphabet backwards.
Well then, I'll teach you the rest. Come here. Come on.
Oh, David Henry's an expert at getting things backward.
B, A.
That's as far as I know.
Who's Bailey?
I.
That's it. I am I. That's your next letter, I. How do you write it? Simple as a beanpole, straight up and down. B, A, I. Look, you're halfway through your name already. So then you'll want to turn the corner like this. That's L. Now, here's the tricky part. How much hair have you got?
Have to comb.
That's it. Bailey needs a comb to comb his hair. That's E. And when you're all finished, you'll want a nice tree to sit under. So you'll draw a beanpole with 2 branches on the top like this. That's Y. There you have it, Bailey.
Geography, you make it simple. B, A, beanpole, turn the corner, comb, tree. educated man. You must be a teacher.
Being a teacher is like being in jail. Once it's on your record, you can never get rid of it. Students, hold your hand up in front of you like this. Now, is there anything between my nose and my fingers? Nothing. My young friends, there are millions of tiny dancing particles whizzing back and forth, running into each other and bouncing off. Stars, universes, planets, right here. Now, I give you a mystery. How do we know that these particles are there?
How indeed?
It appears we have a guest in our classroom today. Chairman of the Concord School Committee, Deacon Nehemiah Ball.
I'm not here to interrupt your scheduled curriculum.
Thank you, sir. Now, these particles...
Just an observer, that's all I am.
Scientists have...
Try to forget I'm in the room.
We'll try, sir. In recent years, scientists have discovered...
How is it that I see no school books open here?
We're huckleberrying, sir.
You're... what?
We're scrambling for ideas the way you would hunt for huckleberries in the woods.
That's no way to learn anything. All they need to know is clearly spelled out in the approved school text.
All, Deacon Ball. Young Potter here has just asked me if I really think there is a God.
Ah, young heathen.
He simply asked why. How, if we never see God, should we believe he actually exists?
Matters of theology, boy, are discussable with your spiritual leader.
Mr. Potter has already talked to his spiritual leader, and Reverend whoever it is called him an atheist for committing the primary sin of doubt. Mr. Potter, I will try to answer you as I once replied to an annoying, inquisitive young man myself.
Will this be a theological opinion?
It will be a human opinion. Now, if I enter a store and notice the gears, pinions, and springs of a watch laying perfectly laid out on a bench, am I to believe that these pieces have all been laid out and come back together as one central unit, telling the passing of time? Do I believe all these pieces have come together by mere chance? Certainly not. I believe that somebody with thought and power came together to it. An intelligence!
An intelligence governs the universe, and in this worship service, we shall celebrate our gratitude to that intelligence. Let us pray.
Nor do I think the sun rising above Concord this morning was an accident. I hope you saw it, Mr. Potter. And you too, Deacon Ball, for it was a brilliant sunrise. We are all related, Mr. Potter, and interrelated to a universal mind.
That's atheism.
I wonder, Deacon, if atheism might even be popular with God himself.
Ugh! Transcendental blasphemy!
The universal mind is the divine part of all of us, and we partake, knowingly or not, in the wonder of that universal mind.
Now, does all this make sense to you, Potter?
Well, it makes no sense to me. You will teach the textbooks, sir.
I find your textbooks somewhat behind the century.
You find them so.
Yes, sir, I do.
And yet you choose to ignore the books which have been proscribed by the school committee?
My students have the ache of curiosity, which I'm afraid your prescriptions will not cure.
Silence! You will show respect for your elders. And you, schoolmaster, will teach strictly according to text. No huckleberrying.
You've heard the deacon. We shall stick to the approved text. Your eyes must not wander from the page to notice a leaf or an unauthorized butterfly. You shall not listen to any noise that has not been approved by the school committee. You better have closed both ears and your nose, although you might need to grow an extra hand to do it.
Silence! Is this the gratitude you show to the municipality which feeds your minds? You will show decent respect! Make them be silent, sir. The lack of order in this classroom will most certainly be reported to the full school committee, which I intend to call into extraordinary session tonight.
Henry, give the man a penny apology. 2 cents worth of humility.
Why should I?
So they don't cut you off from the class. If you're stubborn, what happens when Potter asks questions?
Deacon Ball, I apologize for the rather ragged time you've had in my classroom today. I did not intend any offense to you or the school committee.
Well, we've come to expect a certain degree of unruliness from Harvard men, though your apology shows that you recognize this flaw in your character. However, your students don't have Harvard as an excuse. They must be punished.
I shall lecture them.
You will flog them.
What?
You will flog them for showing irreverence to authority.
I do not believe in corporal punishment.
What you believe is irrelevant. Your opinion as a teacher has not been asked for. I direct you to flog.
Why?
It is policy. Offending students are whipped.
But what would that teach them?
Obedience, an essential quality in subordinates, whether they be students in a classroom or soldiers on the battlefield.
These students are not trained to be soldiers, not my students.
These students are not yours. They belong to the tax-paying citizens of Concord, whom expect you to abide by the rules laid down by the school administrators. Perform your duty, Schoolmaster Thoreau, if you expect to retain your post in this community.
Six of you. Any six, it doesn't matter who. You've all of you have been accused of the damning cries of laughter, curiosity, and candid self-expression. Bigelow. Lori. McClay. Henderson. Potter.
I congratulate you. I'm happy to be able to report to the full school committee that Schoolmaster Thoreau
Has committed the primary sacrament of the school committee, and he resigns as a teacher at the schools of Concord.
But I cannot comply with custom. I cannot administer the rites required of me by this congregation. For I have searched the scriptures and can find nothing which calls on us to repeat endlessly the ceremony of the Last Sacrament. Intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, I cannot administer this sacrament. So I resign my position as pastor of the Second Unitarian Church of Boston.
never teach again.
I shall never preach again.
Have you ever noticed, John, how much Mr. Emerson sounds like our David Henry?
A school doesn't need a school committee, or trustees, or governors, or approved textbooks or lumber. All a school needs is a mind that sends and minds that receive.
Nobody can teach anybody anything.
Of course not. Teach them how to teach themselves.
Our own classroom, John. No buildings. Break away from the classroom prison. All we need is sky. Students, look around you. Did you know so much was going on in Haywood's Meadow? I'm willing to wager that even Haywood doesn't know. A cypripedium that's already in flower. Last year they didn't bloom until tomorrow. Do you know what few people know what we just discovered? On the first morning, a brand new flower. Most of the people of Concord are stuck eating meals and going to the post office. Oh, I would be sad and sorry to remember that I once lived in a world and never noticed anything remarkable. Not even a prince in disguise. John, are you a prince in disguise? Of course. Oh, it would be awful if I was born in the golden age as a hired man. Or visited Olympus and fallen asleep after dinner and completely missed the conversation of the gods. Or imagine living in Judea 1800 years ago and never knowing that Jesus was my contemporary. What are you doing?
I'm writing.
What?
What you've been saying, so I'll remember.
Well, don't just remember what I said, remember what I'm talking about. Who's that?
It's a girl.
Is she one of ours? Does she belong to us? Is she one of our students?
I wouldn't mind. Would you?
Excuse me, miss, but I think you might be a little too old for our class.
Henry, a young lady is never too old for anything.
Well, you see, most of our students are 12, or thereabouts, and, well, you don't exactly seem like thereabouts.
Does it make so much difference, really? I just want to come along and listen and watch. I won't be any bother or ask any questions.
Why not?
Well, my little brother is the only one who has the right to ask questions. He's paying tuition.
You're a Sewell.
How'd you know?
If I can spot a cypripedium, I can spot a Sewell.
Well, of course you're welcome to come along anytime you like. There's only one rule in this class. No rules.
But what about tuition?
You've already paid it. If you were ugly, we'd charge you. Or 12, or thereabouts.
You're John Thoreau. And you're the thundercloud, Henry.
What previous educational experience have you had?
Finishing school.
Dear God.
I survived.
Miss Sewell, John and I are not finishers. No one leaves our classroom with a smooth surface. We rough up the conscious and scrape the moss off young minds.
Oh, please go back to your students, Mr. Thoreau. I'm afraid I've interrupted.
Yes, you have. Every major event that has happened in the world was an interruption. It was unexpected, unplanned for. Only people who ever get are interesting are those who get lost. That's why the planets are so much better company than the stars. Whizzing back and forth through the sky, and you'll never know where you're going to find them. Students, we have another Sewell in our classroom today, Edmund's sister. Now, do you have a first name?
Ellen.
Ellen Sewell. Well, our textbook, Miss Sewell, is Haywood's Meadow, approved by the Almighty, if not by the school committee. In this single pasture, there are over 300 different varieties of God-made grass. You look down and you say, that's grass. Grass is grass. Ridiculous. You've simply missed the variety of the show. Why, there is camel grass and candy grass and cloud grass and cowquake and mouse barley and foxtail grass and devil's knitting needle and timothy and barnyard grass and clovers that can sweeten the bellies of all lambs since creation. Oh, John, what would you say this is?
I've never seen it before.
It's a coin lacrima Job. It means Job's tears. Never before seen a specimen here. Pardon me, students, it appears we are in the presence of 301 God-made grasses. You're writing again.
Well, when you go to school, you learn to write down what you've been taught, so you'll remember.
So it's the notebook that does the remembering, not you.
You keep a notebook.
Yes, I also wear a ridiculous straw hat. That doesn't mean that you should wear a ridiculous straw hat. You would look ridiculous in it. Nature didn't intend to fill this pasture with different varieties of different identical blades of grass, each in imitation of another. Follow the leader is not the game we're playing here. Young lady, be your own man.
Emily, don't shout at her.
I promise I won't take any more notes. Not one.
Why not? If you want to take notes, please do so, but not because I am or because I told you to. Miss Sewell, I want you to be yourself, not your idea of what someone else's idea is of yourself. Perhaps, students, Miss Sewell's introduction has given us the essence of the textbook we call Haywood's Meadow, the multitude of grasses beneath our feet and the infinity of sky above us. If I were to jot down a note about a cloud flame or the sun reflecting off a bird's wing, but don't you write it, because I am. Don't ape me or copy me. If you wish simply to listen to the sky, or smell the sky, or feel the sky with your fingertips, or do that too. Because I believe there should be as many different persons in the world as possible. So, each of you, be very careful to find out and pursue your own way.
Bailey, Bailey, Bailey. I can write. Watch. Watch me do it by myself.
Don't learn to write your name.
I already learned.
Unlearn it. Once you start writing words, you'll start to write sentences. And once you write sentences, you'll be writing paragraphs, and then books. And then you'll be in as much trouble as I am.
You write books?
Yes.
My mother lived to see me sitting in the same jail cell as a man who wrote a book. Woo-wee, she'd be proud of me. Tell me something. You make up all the words yourself?
Well, now and then I use a word that was previously used before. The trick of it is you have to find the right words and place them in the right order.
Must be a fortune in it. I hear tell some books cost more than $1.
But they haven't yet been perfected. Some books they need legs on them. Or else some books will sit in stores and wait for people with legs to come in and take them. I once wrote a book and had a publisher make over 1,000 copies and had me provide the printing. Now I have 700 of them, which are handwritten by me sitting at my home, awaiting return. Mr. Bailey, give up on your literary career. Today, John, I thought we could take a complete circuit of the pond. If the boat's not big enough, I can take the first trip and you can take the second.
It'll be large enough.
We lost another pupil.
No, we lost 2.
Good. Education should not be a mass process.
With us, it isn't.
The point of our school is for the classroom size to grow larger and larger.
Well, the size of the class grows smaller and smaller.
How many do we actually have left?
Mother's got the name of a new family. Just moved to Concord.
How many children?
Be patient, Henry. The wife is pregnant.
Where are you going?
Back to the pencil factory.
Why?
It might be a little overpowering having twice as many teachers as pupils.
Only one left.
Mr. Thoreau,
Good morning.
I came to tell you that you shouldn't wait for Edmund. He won't be coming today.
Is he ill?
No, it's my father.
He's ill.
Not exactly. He's a bit worried. He thinks Edmund's been learning too much.
Oh, well, that's good news. I was beginning to think Edmund was a bit sluggish myself, compared to our other students. That is, when we had other students to compare him with. Tell your father not to worry. I will slow down with Edmund.
I'm afraid that Father doesn't want Edmund coming to class at all anymore.
He's opposed to knowledge?
No, he's opposed to transcendentalists. And that's what he says you are, and your brother too. A whole family afflicted with transcendentalism.
Well, what the devil does your father think transcendentalism is?
You see, I tried to ask him, but the more he explained, the less I understood it. Father has a gift that way.
A born non-teacher. Miss, we'll get into the boat.
Oh?
Since I find myself unexpectedly unemployed, I figured we could take a voyage of exploration. No tuition charge. Keep your eye on the line between the water and the sky. I'll row. There used to be a row of cedars on that far shore. We have since lost that music Lebanon.
Where have they all gone?
Into firewood, up into smoke, into houses. Do you know what we're doing, Miss School? Poisoning paradise. We're shearing off the woods of the poor earth and making her bald before her time.
But we have to have houses, Mr. Thoreau. Or should we all live in caves?
What's the point of having a house if there's not a tolerable planet to put it on? Did you know that trees cry out in pain when they're cut? What? I know, I've heard. But what bells in town toll for them? We prosecute men for abusing children. We ought to prosecute them for maltreating nature.
My father says that God put everything here on earth for men to use.
Did the good Father put us all here to root and snort and glove ourselves like pigs? No, the pigs are better. In fact, the pigs might be the most respectable part of the population. At least they consume the rubble instead of contributing to it. There was a cart full of two-legged pigs on their way to the market, emasculating the landscape with their tracks.
I rather like the railroad. Far better than a horse and carriage.
Why?
Well, it's smoother and much faster.
And dirtier, and uglier. Thank God men haven't learned how to fly. Lay waste to the sky and chop down the clouds.
Is that in transcendentalism, Mr. Thoreau?
No. Well, yes, in a way. Take your father, for example. Do you love that man?
Of course.
Is he beautiful?
Dear me, no.
Does he create beauty? Does he paint, or does he play a musical instrument?
No.
Does he fly like that bird, or swim like that fellow down there?
Well, he can swim a little. He used to, but not like that fish.
Nonetheless, you love him.
Of course.
You see, your love transcends what he is and what he is not. Every consciousness is capable of going beyond itself, and every... Damn it, I've lost you. Put your hand into the water. Can you reach the bottom?
It's too deep.
For the length of your arm, not for your mind. Miss Sewell, why should your reach stop with your skin? You yourself are able to transcend beyond yourself. You see, Miss Sewell, your mind and your consciousness able to go beyond itself. That's transcendentalism, if you like.
I don't think that's wicked. I think it's rather nice.
Who says it's wicked?
Father. Last night at the dinner table, Edmund gave Father a sermon on the oversoul.
Good for Edmund. Every dining room was a tabernacle where only the father gets the pulpit.
Oh, he got it right back. He was still shouting at breakfast. Broke off with an incomplete sentence last night and picked it right back up this morning at porridge.
I'm a little bit older than Edmund, but I have yet to hear the first syllable of valuable advice from my seniors. We are born as innocents, polluted by advice. Here it is, our life in front of us, like the surface of this pond, inviting us to sail onto it. And a voyage, an experiment. Has your father tried it? But it wouldn't be any help to me, or to you. Keep your innocence, Edmund.
Ellen.
Oh, Ellen. Well, both look very much alike. It's your eyes. You both listen to your eyes.
I have to go back.
Why?
Father expects me.
Surprising.
Edmund did. He's braver than I am.
Stand up to your father.
Oh, please, Mr. Thoreau, not in the boat.
Oh.
I have to go back.
No! Listen. If I were to say to you, I love you, Sewell, Miss Sewell, Ellen, if you would think nothing of it as a statement of fact, or if you knew it was an echo or a mouthing of something somebody told me to say, some father. But if I say to you that I love you, out of myself, out of my own experience, or lack of it, then you and God had better believe me.
Mother, Henry's in love.
Who's he in love with?
A girl.
Oh, thank God.
I am not one of your fish, nor one of your birds, Mr. Thoreau. So I can neither swim nor fly back to dry land. I must simply sit here and hope that you are gentlemen enough to row me ashore.
I apologize, Miss Sewell. I will row you to shore on one condition.
I have to accept it.
Come to church on Sunday.
You don't go to church.
Of course not. I can't stand sitting in the pews and having the Sabbath despoiled by a sermon.
But still you invite me to church.
Yes, with John. If you can find one syllable of me worth writing, you'll find paragraphs of it in John. There's a strong family resemblance with us, too. Where I am cantankerous, he is amiable. Where I am thorns and bramble, he is a garden. Where I am a bare hill in the winter, he is spring.
How do you know that your brother would want to take me to church?
Didn't you hear him say to you that when he proposed to you in Haywood's Meadow?
He's barely spoken to me.
That's why you've missed it. You've missed the elegance of his silence.
Oh, good day, Mr. Thoreau. Thank you for making transcendentalism so clear.
Did I? If there's anything I missed, please just ask Edmund.
What happened to your school?
I'm going back to it, but as a pupil, I think I might be able to learn from nature and from John. Pasture that can be filled with raucous flowers and not make any sound. Perhaps a man wiser than a daffodil beats so loudly on the eardrums that nobody can hear what he's trying to say. Bailey, what do you think of marriage? Well, that seems to be the majority opinion. hear that, Bailey? Never felt such waves of sound coming from the clock tower. It's ridiculous that a man has to be locked up in a stone box in order to hear the music of his own village. Thank you, Concord. Thank you for locking me up in here just so I can hear something I've never heard before. You put me behind iron bars and stone walls 4 feet thick. But how do you know I'm not the free one? The freest man in the whole world, while you, yourself, are chained to what you have to do tomorrow morning. Speak softly, Concord. I can hear you breathing. Quiet, baby. Us free men should hear the cry of prisoners.
Here's another pastor in the pulpit.
Relief
That you don't have to give the sermon?
that it's over.
David Henry, not on Sunday.
It is Sunday, isn't it? And what are you all doing in here while the beautiful sunrise is out and about? What a pity.
We've been feeding our souls.
How selfish of you. You see, I have been graciously feeding the flora of Concord.
Labor on the Sabbath, and the devil's in Massachusetts.
Henry worships in the woods.
Then what do we have churches for?
I sometimes wonder.
Dr. Emerson means to say that the good Lord is everywhere.
The Lord I know rested on the seventh day.
Why, Deacon Ball, you're older than I thought. For you and me, Deacon, the Declaration of Independence has already been written. Young Thoreau has to declare it every day, Sundays included. So what's the harm if he sweats his songs instead of singing them?
Oh, David Henry, why did God and I have to make you so peculiar? And please, dear Lord, don't let John get too strange. Perhaps, if it isn't too much trouble, you can slip the word yes into the young lady's mouth. Amen.
She said yes. Oh, congratulations, John. I'm so happy for you. Are you going to start it right away, or are you going to go through those tribal rights, all that primitive nonsense?
She said.
Oh, she said yes, naturally. Oh, she didn't say no.
No, she didn't say no.
Well, then what the devil did she say?
She said. She said that marriage to either of the Thoreau brothers was unthinkable.
Father. Oh, thank goodness. Amen. The Thoreau brothers never had any intention of marrying her father. But she stood up to it.
I wasn't there, but evidently she sat down.
You wasted 6 good summer Sundays taking her to church.
I swear to you, I didn't pray. I kept looking at that face out of the corner of my eye, wondering what she was thinking. It turns out she wasn't thinking at all.
Oh, she's a girl who would want a wife that went around thinking.
When I asked her to marry me, there was a pregnant pause. Well, not pregnant, but a pause. And then she said, "Oh dear." At first I thought she was being affectionate. Then I realized she was only saying, "Oh dear."
Oh, well, then what?
Then she said, "Why doesn't Henry ask me?" And I said, "If he does, will you say yes?" And she said, "No, but why doesn't he ask me anyhow?"
Why, that's outrageous. She wants to wear both our scalps on her petticoat strings.
She won't marry me, and she won't marry you, but I think she'd marry us in a minute.
That's carrying Unitarianism too far.
If we were Mohammedan.
Oh, but it wouldn't help. Muslims only take multiple wives, not multiple husbands.
But then, Henry, I destroyed the whole thing. I killed it. I laughed. Not like that. Bigger. Not at her, the dear girl. At us. I almost shattered the most sacred tradition of the Thoreau tribe. Celibacy.
Oh, the poor girl. At least you saved her from marrying a monk.
Or a pair of them.
Who in our brood has ever committed marriage?
Mom and Papa.
Only legally. Except for a couple of slips I brought about you and me. You see, Papa is a pure bachelor, and Mama is the living pillar of spinsterhood. You see, we have remained a race of bachelors and pure, a maiden ends. All of us, December virgins.
It does make for a rather lonely-looking future.
Lonely? I never. When I'm a mere infant of 90 and you are a mere infant of 88, I know you'll come around to comfort me.
Why, Henry, when you're 90, I'll be a mere infant of 92.
And that's the time we'll both go out to the hand of Ellen Sewell.
Unto Almighty God, we commend the soul of our brother departed, John Thoreau, and we commit his body to the ground in the sure and certain hope of the resurrection unto eternal life. Let us pray.
David Henry, pray with me. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be.
I can't pray. I can't do it, Mother.
It helps.
Does it? God doesn't even listen anymore.
We should pray for John's soul.
John's soul can take care of itself.
We should pray for understanding.
I understand. God doesn't listen anymore, even if he did listen. Can't pray, Mother. Mother, pray for both your sons.
What happened?
He died.
I was in Winthrop. I didn't even hear about it until after the funeral.
We managed.
How did it... Did anybody know?
What do you want? A medical report? To feed a morbid curiosity?
Even though I couldn't marry him.
Oh, couldn't you? That's your business.
Henry, don't be so selfish with your sorrow. I care too.
Oh, he had a glamorous death. The knights of the round table who slash and cut at each other with rusty swords till they all die of blood poisoning.
I don't understand.
John, 3 months ago, happened to think of something very funny while he was shaving. So he burst out laughing and he cut himself. The razor was old and vicious, and it despised the blood in his veins. What so? Do you want the details? The blood-retching face, the spasms, the clenching of the jaw, the paralysis of the tongue, the blood-black face and his eyes bleeding for oxygen.
Henry!
If a lightning bolt had struck him, it would have been worthy of the size of the man. It was a sneak attack from the Almighty. Oh, you played, Joe. Why couldn't you spare John?
I wonder if God lets us be hurt, so we can learn to transcend the pain. In the boat, I didn't understand, really. Is it possible, Henry, that even though John's not living anymore, he continues to be?
Well, what sort of work would you like to do?
Anything. I wish to use my hands.
And what about your head?
Might be useful for burrowing, perhaps. I could beat it into a plowshare. It would have been a better tool than it has been for thinking.
You're giving up thinking?
Oh, for this lifetime, yes.
We could certainly use a handyman, Lydian. Mrs. Emerson will assure you that, of all God's creatures, I am the least handy of men. My skill at carpentry stops at cutting cheese.
There's a great deal that needs doing. The wall by the back meadow needs mending.
Oh, I am a mason.
You are?
Well, of course, I'm not a mason, but I do masonry.
The weeds are at war with the marigolds. And the last time I looked, the weeds were winning.
They're doomed. Being a weed myself, I shall infiltrate their ranks.
What about children, Mr. Thoreau?
What about them?
You've had experience with them?
Oh, I was a child once myself, briefly.
It would be so good for Edward to have someone who could take him boating and hiking. Dr. Emerson has such little time to be a father. He's so occupied with his lectures and writings.
Perhaps, Mr. Emerson, when I work with your son, I could turn my brain back on, temporarily.
I think this might prove to be a very good arrangement. Of course, there's the matter of compensation.
I have already been paid, but with something much, much better than money and more valuable. You see, the words you fling out to an audience from your lecture platform, you never know what happens to those words, do you? No more than a Roman emperor knew where his coins scattered into the streets as he rode by.
The Roman emperors were trying to buy popularity.
And the poor fellows only had gold. No wonder Rome fell. But I sat out there in Harvard Yard while you gave your speech, and I think I caught more gold coins than anyone at the wheels of your chariot.
This may be interesting, having a Harvard man as a handyman. I'm vain, you know, of necessity. I'm not as lucky as the Caesars. I have to mint all my own coins. So a man sits at his desk and doubts constantly, is it gold or is it tin?
It was a faulty metaphor. Money is merely money. You can never spend a thought. It sticks with you. It can make other men rich.
You're thinking, Mr. Thoreau. Incidentally, if we're going to have you around here, you and your hands and your head, I can't possibly go on calling you Mr. Thoreau. Your mother calls you David, I believe.
I call myself Henry.
My mother called me Ralph. You may call me Waldo. And Lydian, of course, is Lydian. And Edward. Where's Edward? Edward!
It's important, I think, for you to meet Edward, to make sure you two are companionable.
Why shouldn't they be?
Yes, Father.
A firm handshake, Edward, for Mr. Thoreau. You're going to be extremely good friends.
I don't see why not.
How do you do, sir?
Isn't it nice, Edward, having a new member of the family?
Yes, ma'am.
But we can't expect Henry to work for the same munificent salary we pay Edward, which is nothing.
Not true. Every Saturday morning, wet or fair, Edward gets a shiny new dime,
I do?
which I promptly put in the bank for him.
Some weeks he's overpaid.
That will be all, Edward. Back to your studies.
Yes, sir.
Well, perhaps, Mr. Emerson, if you would feel more comfortable, I can take the same pay as Edward and try to be worth it.
Henry, you're not a very good businessman.
Well, I'm not a businessman at all. If I'm not paid a regular salary, I won't feel obligated to keep regular hours. I like a broad margin to my life. But I assure you, the work will be done.
Then you must have weekly wages.
Must it be money? Couldn't it be, How far does your back meadow stretch?
To the woods,
Including the woods?
a section of it, to the shore of the pond.
Perhaps. Maybe one day, if you feel my work has served you well and we remain friends, I maybe ask you for a bit of your woods. A small square, no bigger than this room. Not as a gift, I don't want to own it. Simply as an understanding between friends about how we know the land really does belong to the woodchucks, anyhow.
What will you do with it?
I have an idea. An experiment.
Good thinking, Henry. You're planning way up ahead for your retirement.
Retirement? What an absurd idea. Why work for the most best part of your life and spend the rest of it at the least most valuable part of it? Why work like a dog so that you can pant for an hour or two before you die?
Carlyle told me about an Englishman who went off to India, he called it, to make a huge fortune so he could come back to the lake country and live the life of a poet.
If he ever had a poem to his name, he should have rushed up to his garret.
He should have. He died in the Punjab, immensely wealthy, but without a sonnet to his name.
Can Henry have his parcel of woods for his experiments?
Well, I'm not sure what kind of experiments you have in mind, but if the woodchucks don't object, why should I?
Thank you, Doctor. Waldo.
I don't have time to make a list of all the things that need doing. Lydian,
Well,
if you
don't
could...
make a list. Things will tell me what needs to be done.
Oh, what a relief. The hell of having people help you is that they're constantly completing what you gave them to do, and they come knocking at your door saying, "What shall I do next?" Always when you are in the midst of doing what you yourself should be doing next.
I respect a man's privacy, and I shall never knock on the door of your study.
Don't be too much a stranger, Henry. I might interrupt your work now and then to help me mend a cracked wall or pull a few weeds in a lecture I'm writing.
Well, I'm not a polite man. I'll be as frank with you with your work as I am with the back meadow.
How many people understand that young man? He doesn't want anything.
Perhaps he wants too much.
What time is it?
Where are you planning on going?
Back to sleep. I'd like to know how much
Boston as you can get before you start coming back to Boston.
I can never figure how it could be one time here, another time somewhere else. I mean, is it now all over?
Well, you be wiser than most men who wear watches. I never understood why you had to hang time on the hour. You can't count a river by having it pass by you. The best thing to do is to take off all your clothes and go swimming in it. Then you're part of the whole river, where it's been, where it's at, and where it's going. Plunge in.
I don't swim good.
Well, there's no trick to it, really. Well, yes, there is one trick. You can't struggle or thrash in the water. If you do that, the water will struggle and thrash right back, and you'll go under.
Hey, down dairy, drink and be merry. Drink and be merry.
Owen's gone pretty far under.
Yes, he's drowned and drunk on ale and civilization.
You drink?
Oh. Do you?
I can afford it.
It shouldn't cost anything to be drunk. It needn't. It shouldn't. Men can get drunk all the time. Where I come from, you can get drunk on the air.
Where's that at? Maybe when they let me out, I'll get drunk with you. I let you out. Where's it at?
In the woods, by a pond.
Away from everything?
Where I come from, I have a great deal of company, just no people.
Don't you get scared? Night? Alone? Dark?
Why be afraid? All the witches have been hung. Christianity and candles have been invented.
You stay there all the time?
All the time.
I wish I had a place as well. It's kind of marvel to me how a man can get enough money together to buy himself a house that belongs to him.
Do you want to know how much my mansion cost me? $28.12.
Man almighty. I always thought a house costed a fortune, $100 or more. What do you eat?
Well, I have a bean patch and some Indian corn. Now and then Walden serves me up a fish.
What happens in the winter?
Well, it snows. So then I don't have to go to the pond for fresh water. I simply reach out and grab a handful of snow and melt it into sweet as sky. Of course, there are a few things you have to go into town for. So, you go into town.
You condescended to pay a call on civilization, Mr. Thoreau?
Briefly and reluctantly.
How is life among the savages?
Well, if I stay in Concord long enough, I'm sure I'll find out.
Hello, Henry.
Hello, Sam.
What's wrong with your foot?
What's fine? I've got a sick shoe.
Henry, I got something here for you.
Oh.
I can understand how a man could forget, being as busy as you are out there, writing about them birds, talking to the fish, and whatever else it is you do out there. by yourself. Naturally, it don't occur to you to think much about taxes.
No, I don't think much of taxes.
But they gotta be paid.
Why?
It's the law. I ain't blaming you for being forgetful, Henry. It may surprise you to learn you ain't paid your tax in 2 years.
6.
I got this order, and I gotta serve it on you. Here.
Why, thank you, Sam. Well, it fits perfect. Looks like I won't have to go to the cobbler at all.
Henry, that there is an official paper. You can't walk over it like that.
Why not? That's the most practical thing I ever got from the government. The best, anyhow.
Look, it don't pleasure me none serving a court order on you. But sometimes this is an unpleasant job.
If you don't like it, Sam, well then quit.
Somebody's got to do the work of the people.
Oh, you work for the people.
Yes.
Well, I'm people, and you don't have to work for me anymore. You're free. If it'll make you any happier, I'll fire you.
Looky here, Henry. You gonna pay up your tax or ain't you?
You pay your tax, Sam.
If I didn't, I'd have to arrest myself.
Well, are you going to arrest me?
I don't want to, Henry. But the government gets persnickety about taxes when they got a war going on. After all, it ain't a big sum of money. If you're hard up, why, I'll pay it.
Don't you dare!
Alone just. You can pay me back
I will not pay 1 copper penny to an unjust government. Not 1 single penny. Why, I wouldn't pay the tithe and the tithe of the church, so I signed off from the church. Well, Sam, I'm ready and right now to sign off from the government. Where do I sign? Where?
You can't do that.
Why not?
Only even the president has to obey the laws.
Oh, the poor president. What with him preserving his popularity and doing his duty, he doesn't know what to do.
The majority says...
I'm the majority. A majority of 1.
Arrest him!
I don't want to arrest him.
Well, go ahead, Sam. Do your duty. If a man can't come into town to get his shoe fixed, not a pair, not 1 shoe, without his neighbors pawing at him with their dirty institutions. Put it to you like this. If 1,000 men, if 100 men, if 10 honest men, if one honest man in this state of Massachusetts has the courage and conviction to break off this unholy partnership and lock himself into a jail, that would be the start of more true freedom than a few farmers had the guts to stand up to the British at the bridge up the road.
Lawbreaker!
What law ever made men free? Men have to make the law free. I go into town, minding my own business, asking nothing from the government. Why should the government take from me?
I can't figure what makes you so angry, Henry.
Sam, it's very simple. What this government is doing, what the government of this country is doing, turns my stomach. Did you hear what they're doing down in Washington?
Well, I don't have much time for newspapers, and I read them.
Open up your ears then and listen. Find out what your man is doing, what your man is up to. You're a hired man in the White House.
He's not just my president, he's yours too.
No, sir, I'm not paying his salary. He's fired.
You think high of Dr. Emerson, don't you?
Usually.
He's paying his tax.
Well, that's his problem. I'm not paying mine.
All I know is it ain't fitting to throw a Harvard man in jail, especially a Thoreau. A honester man than you, Henry, I never knew.
that a compliment, Sam?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. Now clap me in your best.
That's revolution.
Yes, sir, that's revolution.
Somebody better go tell his ma.
But don't let her Aunt Louisa know. She'll have a conniption fit. I'ma go tell her.
Ain't much, but it's clean.
Music, too. Very soothing.
Now, Henry, I gotta put down your age.
29 summers.
29. Occupation?
What do you need that for, Sam?
If I don't fill this all out correct, the selectmen don't pay your board.
What's his occupation?
Him? He's a vagrant.
So am I.
Henry, that's no occupation. That's another charge. Give me something to put down. What are you exactly?
What am I? Hoer of beans, fisherman, inspector of snowstorms.
Them won't do.
Oh, you want respectable trade, Sam. Well, in that case, let me see here. A pencil maker, occasionally. A school teacher, once. A surveyor, a carpenter, a huckleberry hunter, expert.
Carpenter. That'll do.
Risky, Sam. You'll shock the clergy locking up a carpenter.
It's writ.
Who is it? I'll get it.
I already have, dear.
I'll get it. I've got it. Oh, idiot. What are you doing up?
It's about Henry. He's in jail.
God, help us. Why? What did he do?
It isn't clear.
He murdered Deacon Ball. One of Henry's acts of mercy.
No.
Deacon Ball's been murdered, and they're accusing Henry.
Deacon Ball hasn't been murdered.
Oh, that's too bad. Let me look at that.
Every night, Louisa. Every night I have this terrible nightmare. I dream that David Henry is in jail, but tonight I don't even have to go to sleep.
Now, Henry, before I take my boots off for the night, do you want to pay up your tax and let me let you out of here?
Take off your boots, Sam.
Liddy, I've got to get on my boots.
You're going,
Where's my coat?
you're going to go like that?
I've got to get down to Concord Square. That boy's in trouble.
Please pay up, Henry.
Sam, asking me to pay is like paying for a rifle. Asking me to pay for a rifle is the same thing as asking me to fire it. You're making me as much a killer as those soldiers who crash across the border into faraway Mexico, charge into their neighbors' homes, and set it afire and kill their children. Sam! You forgot your key.
Henry! Henry! What are you doing in jail?
Waldo! What are you doing out of jail? free as can be. I can touch my nose if I like, or not. I can stand, or not stand. The government is so afraid of us, Daly, that it locks us away. It's a lone, timid woman with her silver spoons. We have frightened her out of her wits.
Henry, you have wits enough to know that in order to get along, you have to go along.
Go along! Go along! Go along!
Edward? Go along with Mr. Thoreau.
Where are we going?
Huckleberry hunting, my boy. Would you like to study composition with Mozart, painting with Michelangelo? Study huckleberry with Thoreau. It's the same thing. Now, when I was your age, if I ever was your age, my mother used to bake the best huckleberry pudding in Concord. All my mother and my father and my Uncle Charlie and my Aunt Louisa and my brother John, all they ever got was the pudding. I had the glory of finding the huckleberries, a half-day adventure under the Concord sky.
How do you find huckleberries? I want to discover some.
Well, you see, most people think that, that they're all over there.
Should I go over there?
No, sir. You see, the best huckleberries have a sly way of being exactly where you are standing. The trick of it is, you have to know where to stand.
Can I taste one? Right now?
Oh, well, yes, but for every one you taste, you have to take 2 home.
They're good. Where's your basket?
I use my hat, since my head is precisely the size of huckleberry pudding.
Here's a whole patch of them.
Ah, you've got talent, no doubt about that.
Let's race and see who can get the most first. Look, I've got more than you have.
Everybody does.
How does a huckleberry get to be a huckleberry instead of a strawberry?
Well, there are many books written on the matter, but meeting a huckleberry gives you more knowledge than any botanist who ever wrote a dull book.
Look, Henry. Mine's all the way to the top. Mama should. They're all spilled and spoiled.
Wait, Edward, don't you know what you've done? You've spread and scattered endless amounts of huckleberry bushes for many future generations of Edward Emersons.
I have? No.
You see, nature has intended that little boys gathering huckleberries should now and then scatter and toss their berries. Edward, you have been as helpful as a honeybee.
Let's pick some more. And spill them. But those are yours.
I surrender the title.
What does that mean?
Like most of the voodoo of ownership, it means absolutely nothing.
Henry, I wish you were my father. Mama, these are for you.
Hey, what a present. Thank you, Edward.
But I guess, really, you should thank Henry.
Mr. Thoreau, dear.
Henry says I should call him Henry.
You see, there's not much formality in the huckleberry hunting business.
And Mama, I've asked Henry to be my father.
Oh? What about your own father?
He's never here. He's always way on the other side of the ocean, or out making speeches somewhere, or up in his study where I can't disturb him. But Henry,
Is here.
Take your huckleberries to the kitchen, will you, dear?
if Henry's my father, that means you've got a husband, Mama. Not in England or someplace else all the time, but right here, in our house. Wouldn't that be nicer for you?
I suppose it isn't wise for you to keep working here while Walt is away.
Please don't be afraid of me.
Shouldn't I be? Oh, you're going to tell me you have too much respect for the sage of Concord.
And his wife.
Respect is based on friendship. And friendship is based on love. Love is so accidental, isn't it, Henry?
We love without knowing it. A man or a woman can't love on schedule. I don't wake up in the morning and say I'm going to start loving at 9:20 and continue until 10:15. Yes, it is accidental, and it's everywhere. It's in the tides and the winds and the waves and the sunrise.
Henry, love is all around you, like huckleberries. Why do you choose loneliness?
Mama! Henry! Look what happened to the chicken's feet! He's wearing gloves!
No, Edward, that's not possible. It is wearing gloves.
Well, the other day you told me that they were uprooting your rose plants, so I decided to add a little elegance to the ladies of the hen house. Roses are safe.
You made a peas for all the chickens?
I'm opposed to social distinctions. Once one of them is loved, the rest of them can wander around bare-clawed.
Can I take him out and show him to everybody?
He's a sheezier. Yes, I suppose you can.
But bring the lady back and latch the gate if you want an omelet for breakfast.
Get married, Henry. Find a face and teach yourself to love it.
I have. I'm a crusty and resolute bachelor, and nature is my mother-in-law.
There are so many pretty young girls.
I would drive them promptly into old age, and I'm not that cruel.
You need a brain to toss on the pillow next to you. What about Margaret Fuller?
I couldn't marry her.
Why not?
2 reasons. 1, I'm not stupid enough to ask her, and 2, she's not stupid enough to accept. Do you want to be a matchmaker, Lydian? Find me something that's innocent, natural, and uncomplicated. A shrub oak, or a cloud, or a leaf lost in the snow.
But isn't it lonely, Henry?
Lonely? Well, I am no more lonely, Nidian, than the North Star, or the South Wind, the first spider in a new house. What about your loneliness? Is it enough to come home at night with just a letter from your husband about his overwhelming passion for Carlyle? Isn't it such a pity that you're so safe with me?
Oh, I'm scared of a trial. I ain't got no lawyer. Of course, the food here ain't too bad. Would you be my lawyer?
I am no lawyer.
Couldn't you be one for me? You talk like a lawyer. You're smart as most.
Bailey, I would give you my coat or my shoes. I would chop wood for you or push a wheelbarrow for you. But I would not stoop to being a lawyer for anyone. I believe Lucifer was a lawyer, and that's why the Devilstoke gives advice to the presidents.
Well, who am I gonna get?
If I were God, Bailey, instead of just a specimen, I wouldn't let you die away in the dark. Then tell me what to do. Well, you might try being born into a more right and generous age. Well, that's not really a practical suggestion. I suppose you could try prayer.
I've never been much good at it.
Neither have I.
But could you say one for me?
Does the Almighty really need a tap on the shoulder to remind him that Adam had children?
Well, prayer couldn't hurt none.
All right. Let's send God a telegram. Blessed are the young, for they do not read the president's speeches. Blessed are they who never read a newspaper, for through that they would see nature, and by nature see God. And blessed is Bailey, for he is a good fellow, although he is just a man of letters. Amen.
Amen. You think that got through?
I wouldn't know. I don't normally pray with words. I prefer music.
You ain't taking no gun on me.
A rifle's not good for hoeing beans. Would you mind if I continue? There isn't a gun within 3/4 of a mile from here. What can I do for you?
I need victuals. Give me some victuals.
Take a seat, neighbor. It'll be about 3 weeks before these beans come up.
By then I'll be slipping them beans. Gotta get to Kenyatta.
To where?
Kenyatta. North I can get. They say the norther you get, the freer you get.
Well, there's a loaf of bread in the hut. Help yourself.
You let me go inside the place without you watching?
Why not? If you'd like to stay till supper, I could go and fetch us a fish. What's your name?
William.
I'm Henry Thoreau. Is Williams your first name or your last name?
It's all my name. But ain't no slave. I ain't going back to being no slave. Born myself 2 weeks ago.
Good for you, Mr. Williams.
I belong to Mr. Williams. I was Mr. Williams, no more. You gonna turn me in?
I have no more stomach for slavery than you do. Here you're as free as I am.
How come you live like a black man in a slave shack?
Maybe to prove that less is more. You see, I'm actually rather wealthy. It's just I don't have a lot of money, that's all.
Where's your wife? And chillins?
My bride is this bean patch, Mr. Williams, and I've adopted several woodchucks and 2 rather very unappreciative squirrels.
Nobody listened to me before, not ever.
Well, you had better get used to it. If you're going to be a free man, better get a first name too, but you don't have to. It's just handy.
Henry, maybe? Could I call myself Mr. Henry Williams?
No!
Why are you shouting at me?
You don't belong to anybody, especially not me, only yourself. Watch out or you're going to run right into the thing you're running away from.
Henry Williams.
If you don't like the catch of that, then you can use David. I have that in my name. I don't use it very much.
I like Henry Williams. That sounds good. That's a free man's name. Henry Williams.
Well, there's still slavery in the North, Henry Williams. Every man who is shackled to a 10-hour-a-day job as a work slave, every man that has to worry about next month's rent is a money slave.
But I do feel free. Here, now, with you. I ain't scared no more.
Why should you be?
You let me stay here? I work. Good at hiding. I'll take the chance of the law.
I welcome you here, but you must find your own Walden, Henry Williams. Here in the state of Massachusetts, the color of your face is a flag. You can't hide blackness in blindness. If you want any light in your life, you're going to have to go to some place where men think of themselves as men, not white men. Go to Kenyatta.
I have cast my vote. I've done it. I put it in the ballot box. What more do you expect me to do?
Cast your whole vote, not just a strip of paper, your whole influence.
We have to go along with the majority.
Go along,
Henry. One must consider the economic and sociological ramifications. When white people and black try to live together, it's infinitely complicated.
Then simplify. Simplify.
Complicate things all the more by rushing them. You're a naturalist, Henry. You understand the slow evolving of the seasons. It's the same with human relationships. You can't rush a sunrise.
When a man leaps from a moving freight train and scrambles into the wood to cross the border into Kenyatta.
Where?
Into Canada. A place that is far freer than here, even though they still wear the crown. But they don't have a fugitive slave law. When a man is stopped at the border of freedom by a Boston policeman trying to cross the border into freedom, he doesn't have time for some of Dr. Emerson's leisurely sermons on the slow evolving of the seasons.
Henry, I am just as shocked at the death of this man as you are. What was his name?
Henry Williams. A new man with a new name, hardly used.
I am just as concerned.
Are you? To you, Henry Williams is an abstraction. You might be able to use him as a digression in your Lyceum lecture.
How can you be so unpleasant to me when I'm trying to agree with you?
Because I expect more from you than anyone else. That's why I'm disappointed.
Well, what do you expect of me?
Speak out!
I speak?
It's not enough. Shout!
I am not a shouter.
Not with your voice box, with your mind. No one listens to me, Waldo. But my God, you are Emerson! The darling of the Lyceum, the lord of the lecture circuit. Every word you fling out into an audience is treasured like an heirloom. Stand up, Waldo, and say what you believe.
Sometimes I think I invented you, Henry. Or at least prophesied you. Because you live what I talk about. I couldn't exist the way you do, Henry. I like my warm toast and tea and soft-boiled egg brought to me on a train bed each morning. Whenever I even think of Walden, I get a cold. But I admire you, Henry, I really do. You're my walking ethic. Those are the exact words I used to describe you to Carlyle. Did you know that I told Carlyle about you?
I don't care what you told Carlyle.
I said to Carlyle, of all the men in Concord, Henry Thoreau's the best of the lot. That's what I told him. A poet is full of buds of promise as a young apple tree. That's what I said.
Waldo, don't talk about me. Talk to me. Listen to me.
What? How is that?
Can you lie in bed every morning waiting for your breakfast, your soft-boiled egg, your toast, and your tea? Can you raise your right hand to your mouth while you raise your left, which is also you? Your government is killing men in Mexico. How can you taste or swallow? How can you breathe? You cast your ballot with your right hand, while your left hand is killed Henry Williams, running to be free.
Because I don't rant like Jeremiah. Do you think I'm not outraged? I do what can be done.
Well, it's not enough. Do the impossible. That's what you tell people in your lectures. Oh, but you don't really believe that, do you? You trundle up and down New England with your beneficent smile, shaking the hands of mayors and enjoying the polite applause of little old ladies. Well, you go on singing your spineless benedictions.
What I say is not spineless.
Well, occasionally you sounded a battle cry, but you yourself refuse to hear it.
You're a very difficult man.
Oh, good. This world is too full of easy men.
Do you go out and advocate violence and rebellion?
I ask you to stop violence. What, do you think this country was hatched from a soft-boiled egg? Look around you, Waldo. We have become everything we have protested against.
And what are you doing about it, young man? You pull the woods up over your head. You resign from the human race. Could your woodchucks, with all their wisdom, have saved Henry Williams? Are your fish going to build roads, teach school, put out fires? Oh, it's very simple for a hermit to sit off at a distance and proclaim exactly how things should be. But what if everybody did that? Where would we be?
Where are we, Waldo?
We're at war, I'm aware of it.
Oh, but are you aware of the reasons? The slaveholders grabbing more slave territory, more slavery, and less freedom. Is that what you want?
Henry, we must work within the framework of our laws. The end to this war. The condition of the blacks. This is the business of the president and the Congress.
Do you really believe that? I guess I was wrong. I thought you held the same disgust for what the government's military is doing. If it doesn't bother you, I've made a mistake. You're right to keep still. I'll go back to my woods and leave you at peace with your war.
All right, my young conscience. What shall I do?
Declare yourself.
I will. Absolutely. The next time the occasion arises.
Now! A year ago was too late. I will get you an audience and you will speak here at the Concord Square.
Fire someplace?
What's the news? Is the war over?
Henry, what you doing up there?
Dr. Emerson is coming down to speak here right now and make a statement.
David Henry, are you riling everybody up again?
Dr. Emerson's going to rile up the whole country and you're going to hear it first.
Dr. Emerson gonna speak now?
Yes, I just came back from him. He is on his way.
Is he gonna say something? Give a sermon?
Both, God willing.
No lecture charge either.
Well, where is he?
Don't worry. He will be here.
Dr. Emerson has asked me to tell you
Yes.
that he wants more time to meditate on these matters, so he can write a careful essay setting forth his position.
wife down here, the happy job of coming down here to tell us. Walking written excuse to a schoolmaster, saying, oh, so sorry. Johnny couldn't come to school today because he was stuck in bed with the crew.
Waldo wants to collect his thoughts.
What is this, the winter of our content? By the time he collects his thoughts, they'll all be as dead as dandelions under the snow.
Well, I'm running to a fire. Nobody lit it. It's Henry for you.
Henry, my husband loves you as much as one man can love another man.
My God. He was my God. If he is a deity, then I am a devil.
Why do you enjoy hurting him?
He hurts me.
He cares what you think.
Patronizing. That's what he is. You can't even have a sane discussion with him.
When he talks to you.
He never talks to me. Was he talking with me just now?
You ride in the distance.
I can't even speak with him. Talking with him, I almost lose my time and my identity.
I hear you both. You wrangle and tussle like boys in a cricket match, hitting and pushing and kicking each other, not for the sake of ideal, just playing to win.
Your husband, Mrs. Emerson, has the misfortune of being a gentleman and famous, and he is drowning in his own success.
My husband's best friend doesn't even know who my husband is. You've drawn some ideal in your mind, some imaginary Waldo, the way you want him to be. Please, Henry, give him the same liberty he gives you to be who you are.
Citizens of Concord, how do we make a sound? How do we break the silence?
Forward to Mexico. March.
8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4.
Learn to kill. Learn to kill. Learn to kill so you won't be killed.
Learn to kill. Learn to kill. Learn to kill so you won't be killed.
I'm gonna shoot at them. They ain't done nothing to me.
Coward! Traitor! Slacker! Favorite!
Why doesn't this man have a gun?
Wake up, Henry. I got something here for you. Wake up.
I don't want it.
The purpose of this action is to stop the enemy and protect themselves from the enemy.
I won't go.
That's a good boy, Henry. Always do the right thing, even if it's wrong.
8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4. 8, 2, 3, 4.
Mr. President, the military advises that we conquer the entire territory for the love of the ball. bubble. Are you prepared to go along?
Is this man saying something? I can't hear him.
What are your instructions, Mr. President?
I wish more time to collect my thoughts. So, I'm going to appoint a committee, to appoint a committee, to appoint a committee. Ah! Get to the bottom of this, so the top will know what to do.
There he is, boys. There's the enemy.
Run, Henry Williams, run!
He got away!
He's safe. Mr. President, the only one who can pick pocket here.
I propose to write a careful essay, setting forth my position.
Somebody speak out, somebody say something!
Mr. Speaker, gentlemen of the Congress, this unnecessary war was unconstitutionally commenced by the President, who may be telling us the truth, but he is not telling the whole truth. He has swept the war on in showers of blood. His mind taxed beyond its powers is running out like some tortured creature on a burning surface. Stop the war, Mr. President. For the love of God, stop this war.
I don't know who you are, Congressman. I doubt the people of Illinois will re-elect you, for you refuse to go along. But I shall remember who you are, Congressman Lincoln. John? John!
Ready? Fire!
John! Oh, die again, John. God, don't let him die again!
Wake up, Henry. I got something here for you.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Well, the porridge ain't very good, but the cocoa's hot.
Good morning, Sam. morning?
Yep. Here's your pint of chocolate. You heard the news?
What news?
It's finished.
The war?
That wire they've been stretching clean to Texas. And it works. Now a fella in New York can send words down there electric fast as he can talk.
But Sam, what if nobody in Texas has anything important to say to anyone in New York?
I just thought you'd be happy to know. And another thing, you can leave, Henry. Anytime you're a mind to.
Leave!
During the night, your tax got paid up.
Who did it?
Ain't material for me to say.
Dr. Emerson, did Waldo come and pay it?
No, sir.
Mrs. Emerson, did she do it?
No.
My mother.
Now, stop poking around trying to get me to tell. I promised your Aunt Louisa I wouldn't open
Aunt Louisa! Why am I cursed with my mother's sister's courtesy? Aunt Louisa, why can't you leave yourself and your false teeth out of my life? I hereby excommunicate you from the Milky Way.
It's been nice having you here with us, Henry. Here's the receipt.
I'm not going anywhere. I didn't pay my tax.
It's been paid.
Not by me.
Look, a man's got no right to stay in jail if there's no charge against him. I can't even bring you lunch.
You going already?
He's going.
Be awful quiet around here. What's wrong?
It's awfully wrong. Man only thinks about himself. Sam, do you know what quid pro quo means?
That one of them Harvard words.
It means if you see to it that Bailey gets his trial, not within another 3 months or 3 weeks, right now, why then I might fancy your law and walk out onto the sidewalk, not before.
It ain't in my power. I don't make decisions like that.
Good night, Sam.
It's morning, Henry.
Not for me. Not until Bailey gets his trial.
I'll do everything I can. I'll talk to the judge and the selectman.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. I'm never gonna forget this night here. When they let me out, I'm gonna come visit you at your pawn place.
I might not be there at that pawn place when you get out.
Sounds to me like it's just about perfect.
That's the thing. It's too perfect. I couldn't live there all the time. Quite the acceptance to accept heaven on terms like that. See, have you ever taken a boat trip, Bailey?
Riverboat only.
When they give you a ticket to the ocean passage, you get access to the whole ship, not just a section of it. Why not explore the whole ship and not just stay on the below deck where it's nice and cozy and warm? I think I'll go out onto the fort deck, explore the whole ship. I must leave Walden. It's not necessary to be there in order to have them.
Right morning. It's gonna be a fine July day out there.
Sometimes the sun shines so bright it puts your eyes out. Well, then it's just darkness all over again. But there's more to dawn than day. The sun is just a morning star.